Welcome to a journey along the world's most magical shorelines, where the ocean itself becomes a canvas of living light. Tonight, we'll walk together along beaches that glow with bioluminescence, where every wave sparkles with tiny organisms creating their own illumination in the darkness. Let the gentle rhythm of the tide, the soft whisper of night winds, and the mesmerizing dance of blue-green light guide you into deep, peaceful rest. This is a place where science meets wonder, where the smallest creatures create the most breathtaking displays, and where you can finally let go of the day and drift into tranquil sleep. Imagine that the day is ending, and you find yourself walking toward the ocean. The sun has already slipped below the horizon, leaving behind it a sky painted in layers of deepening color. Near the western edge, there might still be a band of soft orange or pale pink, but above that, the blue is growing richer, darker, transitioning slowly into the deep indigo that comes just before true night. The first stars are beginning to appear, faint at first, like shy guests arriving early to a gathering, but gradually growing more confident as the sky darkens around them. You're walking along a path that leads down toward the beach. Maybe it's a sandy trail winding through low dunes covered in beach grass that whispers and sways in the evening breeze. Maybe it's a wooden boardwalk, weathered and smooth under your feet, with gaps between the planks where you can see the sand below. Or perhaps it's simply a gentle slope of packed earth and scattered shells, leading you naturally downward toward the sound that has been calling to you all along, the rhythmic, eternal voice of the ocean. As you walk, you notice how the air changes. It becomes cooler, fresher, carrying with it that distinctive scent of salt and seaweed, of wet sand and distant depths. It's a smell that immediately tells your body where you are, even if your eyes were closed. The ocean has its own perfume, ancient and familiar, and breathing it in now, you might feel something in your chest relax, some tension you didn't even know you were holding beginning to ease. The sound of the waves grows louder with each step. At first, it was just a distant murmur, a background hum that you could almost mistake for wind or traffic. But now it resolves itself into something more distinct, the rolling crash of water meeting shore, the hiss and whisper of foam spreading across sand, the gentle sucking sound as each wave retreats, pulling tiny pebbles and shells with it in a rattling, musical cascade. It's a sound that has no beginning and no end, a rhythm that has been playing since long before you were born and will continue long after you're gone. There's something deeply comforting in that continuity, in knowing that this sound, this motion, this meeting of water and land, is one of the most constant things on Earth. You reach the edge of the beach now, where the path ends and the sand begins. You pause for a moment, perhaps slipping off your shoes, feeling the sand beneath your feet for the first time. It's cool now, having released the warmth of the day back into the evening air. The grains are fine and soft, shifting slightly with each step you take, conforming to the shape of your feet, supporting you gently as you begin to walk toward the water's edge. The beach stretches out before you, a wide expanse of pale sand that seems to glow faintly in the gathering darkness. To your left and right, the The shoreline curves away into shadow, and you can't quite see where it ends. Behind you, there might be the distant lights of a small town or village, warm yellow dots scattered along the coast, but they're far enough away that they don't intrude on the darkness here. Ahead of you, the ocean is a vast, dark presence, its surface barely visible now as night settles in completely. You walk slowly toward the water, in no hurry, letting your feet find their own pace. Each step is an opportunity to notice something, the way the sand changes texture as you move closer to the water, becoming firmer, slightly damp, marked with the delicate patterns left by the last high tide. You might see the tracks of birds who walked here earlier, or the small holes where sand crabs have burrowed down for the night. Scattered shells catch what little light remains, their curved surfaces gleaming softly. The sky above you is almost fully dark now. The stars are coming out in earnest, hundreds of them, then thousands, spreading across the dome of the heavens like scattered diamonds on dark velvet. If you're far enough from city lights, you might even see the Milky Way beginning to reveal itself, that pale river of distant suns flowing across the sky. The moon, if it's present at all tonight, is perhaps just a thin crescent, offering only the faintest silver light, or maybe it hasn't risen yet, leaving the night darker and more intimate. And it's in this darkness, as you approach the water's edge, that you begin to notice something unusual. At first, you're not quite sure what you're seeing. It's subtle, easy to miss if you're not paying attention. But there, where the waves are breaking, where the water is churning and foaming as it meets the shore, there seems to be a faint glow. Not the reflection of moonlight or starlight, but something else, something that seems to be coming from within the water itself. You stop walking and stand very still, watching. Another wave rolls in, building as it approaches the shallows, curling over itself, and as it breaks, you see it clearly now, a line of pale blue-green light, tracing the crest of the wave, outlining it in a color that seems almost electric, almost impossible. The light appears for just a moment as the wave crashes, then fades as the foam spreads across the sand, leaving behind only darkness and the sound of water retreating. You take a few more steps forward, drawn by curiosity and wonder, until you're standing right at the edge where the waves are reaching. The water rushes up around your ankles, cool and alive, and as it swirls around your feet, you see it happen again, tiny sparks of light, dozens of them, hundreds of them, appearing wherever the water is disturbed. It's as if the ocean is full of microscopic stars, and your presence has awakened them. You move your foot slowly through the shallow water, and a trail of light follows the motion, glowing softly for a second or two before fading back into darkness. You do it again, making a small circle with your toes, and the light responds, painting your movement in luminous blue. It's one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen, and also one of the strangest, this living light emerging from the sea. What you're witnessing is called bioluminescence, a phenomenon where living organisms produce their own light through chemical reactions within their bodies. Here, in the surf zone of certain beaches around the world, The glow is most often created by tiny, single-celled organisms called dinoflagellates. These microscopic creatures drift in the water by the millions, invisible to the naked eye individually, but collectively capable of creating displays of light that can make an entire shoreline shimmer and glow. The dinoflagellates produce light when they're disturbed, when something moves through the water and jostles them. It might be a wave breaking, a fish swimming past, a person wading through the shallows, or even just a strong current. The mechanical disturbance triggers a chemical reaction inside each tiny cell, and for a fraction of a second, that cell emits a flash of blue-green light. When millions of these organisms flash at once, the effect is this ethereal glow that seems to turn the ocean into liquid light. You don't need to understand all the science right now. You don't need to remember the names or the mechanisms. All you need to do is stand here, in the cool water, under the stars, and watch as the ocean reveals one of its most enchanting secrets. This is a place where the boundary between the ordinary and the magical becomes beautifully blurred, where something as simple as taking a step can create a cascade of light, where the darkness of night is punctuated by these gentle, living sparks. As you stand there, you might notice how your breathing has already begun to slow, how your shoulders have dropped slightly, how the constant chatter of thoughts that usually fills your mind has quieted to a murmur. There's something about being here, in this liminal space between land and sea, between day and night, between the known and the mysterious, that invites a kind of peaceful attention. You're not trying to do anything or figure anything out. You're simply here, present, watching the water glow around your feet. The waves continue their eternal rhythm, rolling in one after another, each one carrying with it that brief flash of light. You can hear them coming, building in the darkness, and then see them as they break, outlined in luminescence. The sound and the light work together, creating a kind of meditation, a focal point that gently holds your attention without demanding anything from you. You might remember other times you felt this way. Perhaps it was another evening by the ocean, or maybe by a lake or river, some body of water that drew you to its edge and invited you to simply be still and watch. Or maybe it was in a different setting entirely, a moment when you stepped outside on a clear night and looked up at the stars, feeling suddenly small and large at the same time, connected to something vast and ancient. Or perhaps it was a quiet morning, watching the sun rise, seeing the world transform from darkness to light, and feeling grateful to be alive and present for that transformation. These moments of simple presence, of wonder without agenda, are gifts we give ourselves. They're pauses in the constant forward motion of life, opportunities to remember that we are not just minds racing from task to task, but embodied beings living on a remarkable planet, surrounded by beauty and mystery if we only take the time to notice. And tonight, you found one of those moments here, on this luminescent beach. As you continue to stand in the shallow water, you might experiment a little, moving your hands through the water and watching the light trail from your fingers, or taking a few steps and seeing your footprints glow briefly before fading. Each movement creates its own small constellation of light, a temporary artwork that exists for just a moment before dissolving back into the darkness. The water is cool but not cold, refreshing against your skin. The sand beneath your feet is firm and supportive, occasionally shifting slightly as waves wash over it. The air is gentle, perhaps carrying a light breeze that touches your face and moves through your hair. Everything here is working together to create an environment of calm, of ease, of gentle wonder. You're not in a hurry to go anywhere or do anything. There's nowhere else you need to be right now. This beach, this water, this soft glow in the darkness, this is enough. More than enough. It's perfect exactly as it is, and so are you, standing here, breathing slowly, watching the ocean breathe light. As the minutes pass, you might notice that the glow seems to be getting brighter, or perhaps your eyes are simply adjusting to the darkness, becoming more sensitive to the subtle light. Either way, the effect is becoming more pronounced. You can see now that it's not just where the waves break that glows, but anywhere the water is moving. Small ripples on the surface carry faint traces of light. The foam that collects in shallow pools sparkles with tiny points of luminescence. Even the wet sand, where waves have just retreated, sometimes holds a faint glow for a few seconds before fading. The beach has transformed into something otherworldly, a place that exists somewhere between dream and reality. The darkness that might have seemed empty or even slightly unsettling when you first arrived now feels full, alive, populated by countless tiny beings going about their existence, and occasionally, when disturbed, sharing their light with you. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the cool, salt-tinged air, and as you exhale, you feel another layer of tension release from your body. Your jaw unclenches slightly. Your hands, which might have been curled into loose fists, relax and open. Your spine lengthens just a bit, finding a more natural, comfortable alignment. You're settling into this moment, into this place, into this experience of quiet wonder. The sound of the waves continues, that steady, rhythmic pulse that is one of the most soothing sounds in nature. Crash and hiss, over and over, never exactly the same, but always following the same basic pattern. It's a sound that can slow your heartbeat, that can entrain your breathing, that can gently guide your nervous system from a state of alertness into a state of rest. And with each wave that glows as it breaks, you're reminded that you're not alone here. You're surrounded by life, by millions of tiny organisms that are, in their own way, responding to the world around them. When you move through the water, they respond with light. It's a kind of communication, a dialogue between you and the ocean, even if it's not a conscious one on their part. You affect them, and they affect you, creating together this moment of beauty. As you stand here, you might begin to feel a gentle pull toward the water, an invitation to wade in a little deeper, to explore this glowing phenomenon more fully. Or you might feel content to stay right where you are, at the very edge, letting the waves come to you. Either way is perfect. There's no right or wrong way to experience this. The ocean will continue to glow whether you're ankle deep or knee deep or simply sitting on the dry sand watching from a distance. For now, let's imagine that you decide to walk slowly along the shoreline, staying in the shallow water where the waves can reach you. With each step, your feet create small explosions of light, brief and beautiful. You're leaving a trail of luminescence behind you, a glowing path that marks your passage before fading back into darkness. It's as if you're walking through liquid starlight, as if the boundary between the ocean and the night sky has dissolved and you're moving through both at once. The wet sand is smooth and cool beneath your feet. Occasionally, you feel the delicate texture of a shell or the slight roughness of a small stone. The water swirls around your ankles with each wave, cool and alive, and always, there is that responsive glow, that gentle light that appears wherever the water is disturbed. You walk slowly, in no particular direction, just following the curve of the shoreline. To your right, the dark ocean stretches out to the horizon, its surface occasionally catching a glint of starlight. To your left, the beach rises gently toward the dunes, a pale expanse of sand that seems to glow faintly in the darkness. Above you, the stars continue their slow wheel across the sky, ancient and constant. And here, at the meeting place of all these elements, you find yourself in a state of peaceful presence. Your mind is quiet, your body is relaxed, and your heart is open to the simple beauty of this moment. The glowing water, the sound of the waves, the cool night air, the feeling of sand beneath your feet, all of it is working together to create an experience of deep calm. This is what you came here for, even if you didn't know it consciously. You came to find a place where you could let go of the day's concerns, where you could step out of the constant stream of thoughts and worries and simply be. And you found it, here on this luminescent beach, where the ocean itself seems to be offering you a gift of light in the darkness. As we prepare to move deeper into this experience, to explore more about these glowing waters and the life within them, take one more moment to simply stand still and breathe. Feel your feet planted firmly on the sand. Feel the water moving around your ankles. Feel the night air on your skin. Hear the waves, that eternal rhythm. See the soft glow that appears and fades, like the ocean's own heartbeat made visible. You are exactly where you need to be. And the night is just beginning. Now that you've had a chance to experience the wonder of these glowing waters firsthand, let's take a moment to understand, in a gentle and accessible way, what's actually creating this beautiful phenomenon. You don't need to memorize anything or worry about scientific terms. Just let the information wash over you like the waves at your feet, taking in whatever feels interesting and letting the rest simply flow past. The light you're seeing is called bioluminescence, which simply means living light. It's light that's produced by living organisms through chemical reactions that happen inside their bodies. This is different from the way most light sources work. A light bulb, for example, produces light by heating a filament until it glows, or by exciting gases until they emit photons. The sun produces light through nuclear fusion, an incredibly hot and energetic process. But bioluminescence is what scientists call cold light because it produces almost no heat at all. Nearly all of the energy from the chemical reaction is converted directly into light, making it one of the most efficient light sources in nature. Think of it this way: if you've ever seen a firefly on a summer evening, blinking its yellow-green light as it flies through the dusk, you've seen bioluminescence. The firefly has special organs in its abdomen where a chemical reaction takes place, producing that characteristic glow. The firefly uses this light to communicate, to find mates, to signal to others of its kind. It's a language written in light. In the ocean, bioluminescence is even more common than it is on land. In fact, scientists estimate that the majority of animals living in the deep ocean, where sunlight never reaches, are capable of producing their own light in one way or another. It's a crucial adaptation in a world of perpetual darkness, used for finding food, attracting mates, confusing predators, or camouflaging against the faint light filtering down from above. But here, in the shallow waters where you're standing, the bioluminescence you're seeing comes primarily from tiny, single-celled organisms called dinoflagellates. These are a type of plankton, which is a general term for small organisms that drift with ocean currents rather than swimming strongly against them. The word plankton comes from a Greek word meaning wanderer or drifter, which is a beautiful way to think about these tiny beings, floating through the ocean, carried by currents and tides, living out their microscopic lives in the vast blue. Dinoflagellates are remarkable little organisms. Each one is far too small to see with the naked eye, typically measuring between 20 and 200 micrometers, which means you could fit dozens or even hundreds of them across the width of a single grain of sand. They have two whip-like structures called flagellae that they use to move through the water, spinning and propelling themselves in a characteristic spiraling motion. Some dinoflagellates are photosynthetic, meaning they can capture energy from sunlight and convert it into food, much like plants do. Others are predatory, hunting and consuming even smaller organisms. And some can do both, switching between strategies depending on conditions. The bioluminescent dinoflagellates, the ones creating the glow you're seeing tonight, have evolved a fascinating defense mechanism. Inside each cell, there are tiny compartments called scintillons, which contain the chemicals needed to produce light. When the cell is disturbed, when something jostles it or creates a pressure wave through the water, a cascade of signals is triggered inside the cell. Channels open, allowing certain ions to flow in, and this triggers the chemical reaction in the scintillons. The reaction itself involves a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme called luciferase. When luciferin reacts with oxygen in the presence of luciferase, it produces light. The whole process happens incredibly quickly, in just a fraction of a second, creating a brief flash of blue-green light. Then the cell needs time to reset, to rebuild its supply of luciferin and prepare for the next disturbance. This is why if you swirl your hand through the water repeatedly in the same spot, the glow might seem to diminish slightly. The cells need a moment to recharge. But why do these dinoflagellates produce light at all? What purpose does it serve for such a tiny organism to flash when disturbed? Scientists have several theories, and the truth might involve a combination of factors. One leading hypothesis is that the light acts as a kind of burglar alarm. Imagine you're a small dinoflagellate drifting in the water at night, and a tiny predator, perhaps a small crustacean or larval fish, starts to feed on you and your neighbors. By flashing brightly when disturbed, you might attract the attention of larger predators, ones that would happily eat the creature that's eating you. In essence, you're calling for help, illuminating your attacker and making it visible to its own predators. It's a clever strategy. Use light to turn your predator into prey. Another possibility is that the sudden flash of light startles or confuses the predator, causing it to hesitate or swim away, giving the dinoflagellate a chance to escape. Or perhaps the light serves as a warning signal, indicating to predators that these particular organisms are toxic or unpleasant to eat. Some dinoflagellates do produce toxins, and if predators learn to associate the blue flash with a bad experience, they might avoid glowing prey in the future. Whatever the exact evolutionary reason, the result is this beautiful phenomenon that you're experiencing tonight. Millions upon millions of these tiny cells, each one responding to disturbance with a brief flash of light, creating together a display that can make an entire bay or stretch of coastline glow with an otherworldly radiance. As you stand in the water, watching the glow appear around your feet with each movement, you're essentially seeing a conversation happening in a language of light. The dinoflagellates are responding to your presence, to the pressure waves created by your movements, and they're doing what evolution has programmed them to do: flash brightly when disturbed. They have no awareness of you as a person, no concept of the beauty they're creating. They're simply following their biological programming, responding to stimuli in the way their ancestors have responded for millions of years. And yet, the effect is magical. It's one of those wonderful moments where understanding the science behind something doesn't diminish its beauty, but actually enhances it. Knowing that you're seeing the result of countless tiny chemical reactions, each one happening inside a microscopic cell, each one part of an evolutionary strategy that has been refined over eons, makes the experience even more remarkable. You're not just seeing pretty lights, you're seeing life itself, expressing one of its most elegant adaptations. Let's take a moment to appreciate the scale of what's happening here. In a single liter of water, during a good bioluminescent bloom, there might be millions of dinoflagellates. The bay or stretch of coastline where you're standing might contain billions or even trillions of these organisms. Each one is living its own tiny life, drifting with the currents, feeding, reproducing, and occasionally, when disturbed, producing light. The glow you see is the collective expression of this vast community of microscopic beings, all responding in unison to the movement of water. It's humbling, in a way, to realize that something so beautiful is created by organisms so small that you can't even see them individually. It reminds us that we're surrounded by life at every scale, from the largest whales to the smallest plankton, and that each form of life has its own remarkable adaptations and strategies for survival. The color of the light, that distinctive blue-green, is also not random. Water absorbs different wavelengths of light at different rates. Red light is absorbed very quickly, which is why everything looks blue-green when you dive deep underwater. Blue and green light, on the other hand, can penetrate much deeper. For organisms that need their light to be visible to others, either as a warning, a lure, or a signal, producing blue-green light makes perfect sense. It's the color that travels farthest through water, the color that's most likely to be seen. As you continue to stand in the glowing water, you might notice other things now that you understand what you're looking at. Perhaps you see a fish dart past, and in its wake, a trail of light appears, marking its path through the water. The fish itself isn't glowing, but it's disturbing the dinoflagellates as it swims, causing them to flash. Or maybe you notice that when a wave breaks, the glow is brightest right at the crest, where the water is most turbulent, where the dinoflagellates are being tossed and tumbled most violently. If you were to scoop up some of the water in your hands and look closely, you might see tiny sparkles within it, like holding a handful of liquid stars. Each sparkle is a dinoflagellate responding to the movement of being scooped up. If you were to pour the water slowly from one hand to another, you'd see the light follow the flow, creating a glowing stream in the darkness. Some people describe the experience of swimming in bioluminescent water as one of the most magical experiences of their lives. Imagine moving through the water at night, and everywhere your body goes, light appears. Your arms create glowing trails as you stroke through the water. Your legs kick and leave behind clouds of blue-green sparkles. If you float on your back, you're surrounded by a halo of light, as if you've become a constellation yourself, a human-shaped arrangement of stars floating in the dark sea. But you don't need to swim to appreciate this phenomenon. Simply standing here, in the shallow water, moving your feet slowly through the sand, watching the responsive glow, is enough. There's something deeply meditative about it, about the way the light appears and fades, in rhythm with your movements and with the waves. It's a visual representation of cause and effect, of action and response, played out in one of nature's most beautiful forms. As you breathe slowly and watch the water glow, you might find yourself thinking about other forms of natural light. The way sunlight filters through leaves in a forest, creating dappled patterns on the ground. The way moonlight reflects off a calm lake, creating a silver path across the water. The way lightning illuminates storm clouds from within, making them glow briefly before returning to darkness. The way the aurora borealis dances across the northern sky, curtains of green and purple light rippling in the upper atmosphere. Light, in all its forms, has a way of capturing our attention and stirring something deep within us. We are, after all, creatures who evolved under the sun, who learned to fear the darkness and seek the light. Fire was one of our first technologies, a way to push back the night and create a circle of warmth and safety. We've always been drawn to light, and perhaps that's part of why this bioluminescent display feels so compelling, so beautiful. It's light appearing in a place where we expect darkness, life making itself visible in the night. The dinoflagellates don't know that they're creating beauty. They don't have any concept of aesthetics or wonder. They're simply doing what they do, responding to their environment in the way evolution has shaped them to respond. But you, standing here watching, you have the gift of being able to appreciate what they create. You can see the beauty in it, can feel the sense of wonder and connection it evokes. That's one of the special things about being human, our ability to find meaning and beauty in the natural world, to be moved by things that have no awareness of moving us. As we prepare to move on, to explore some of the specific places around the world where these glowing beaches can be found, take a moment to simply be with this understanding. You're standing in water that's alive with microscopic organisms, each one capable of producing its own light. The glow you see is the visible expression of millions of tiny lives, all responding to the movement of the ocean and to your presence within it. It's a reminder that the world is full of hidden wonders, that there are layers of life and complexity all around us, even in places that might seem empty or simple at first glance. The ocean is not just water. It's a living system, teeming with organisms at every scale, from bacteria to whales, all interconnected, all playing their roles in the vast web of life. And tonight, you're getting a glimpse of one small part of that system, one beautiful expression of the creativity and adaptability of life on Earth. Breathe in the salt air. Feel the cool water around your ankles. Watch the gentle glow appear and fade with each wave. And know that you're part of this moment, part of this ancient dance between life and light, between organism and environment, between the tiny and the vast. The ocean is breathing light, and you're here to witness it. Now that you understand what creates this luminous phenomenon, let's take a gentle journey together, traveling in imagination to some of the most famous bioluminescent beaches around the world. We'll visit each one slowly, taking time to notice the unique character of each place, the way the light appears there, the sounds and sensations that make each location special. Think of this as a slow, dreamlike tour, where we can move from one glowing shore to another simply by closing our eyes and letting our minds drift across the ocean. Our first stop is Mosquito Bay, also known as Bioluminescent Bay, on the island of Veracruz in Puerto Rico. This bay is often called the brightest bioluminescent bay in the world, and for good reason. The conditions here are nearly perfect for dinoflagellates to thrive. The bay is shallow and sheltered, surrounded by mangrove forests that provide nutrients and protection from strong currents. The narrow channel connecting it to the open ocean means that the dinoflagellates that bloom here tend to stay in the bay rather than being washed out to sea. And because Veracruz is relatively undeveloped, with minimal light pollution, the darkness here is deep and complete, making the bioluminescence even more visible and striking. Imagine yourself here now, on a warm Caribbean night. The air is soft and humid, carrying the scent of tropical vegetation mixed with salt water. You're in a kayak, paddling slowly across the calm surface of the bay. The water is dark, almost black, and above you, the stars are brilliant, more numerous than you've ever seen if you live in a city. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of light, and you can see the dark shapes of palm trees silhouetted against the starlit horizon. As your paddle dips into the water and pulls back, it creates a trail of bright blue-green light, a glowing streak that follows the blade through the water. Each stroke leaves behind a luminous path that slowly fades over the course of a few seconds. When you lift the paddle out of the water, droplets fall from it, and each droplet creates a tiny splash of light as it hits the surface, like liquid stars falling back into the sea. You pause your paddling and let the kayak drift. In the silence, you can hear the gentle lap of water against the hull, the distant chirping of insects from the shore, the soft rustle of wind through the mangroves. And then you trail your hand in the water, moving it slowly back and forth, and watch as your fingers leave glowing trails, as if you're painting with light on a dark canvas. Other kayakers are out here with you, scattered across the bay, and you can see their movements marked by light. Each paddle stroke creates a flash, each kayak leaves a glowing wake. It's like watching fireflies, but in the water instead of the air, each person creating their own patterns of light as they move through the darkness. If you were to slip into the water here, to swim in this glowing bay, you would find yourself surrounded by light. Every movement would create sparkles, every kick would leave a trail. You would become, for a moment, a being of light yourself, outlined in blue-green luminescence, moving through a liquid galaxy. Let's move now to our next destination, traveling across the Pacific Ocean to Toyama Bay in Japan. This location is famous for a different kind of bioluminescence, created not by dinoflagellates but by firefly squid, small creatures about 3 inches long that gather in huge numbers in this bay during their spawning season, which runs from March to June. These squid have special light-producing organs called photophores distributed across their bodies, and they use these lights for communication, camouflage, and attracting prey. Imagine standing on the shore of Toyama Bay on a spring night. The air is cool, carrying the last hints of winter, but with the promise of warmer days ahead. The bay is calm, and as you look out across the water, you begin to see lights appearing beneath the surface, not the sharp flashes of dinoflagellates, but a softer, more sustained glow. It's as if someone has scattered blue lanterns across the seafloor, their light filtering up through the water. As the tide brings the squid closer to shore, the display intensifies. Thousands of them, tens of thousands, each one glowing with its own pattern of lights, creating a spectacle that has drawn people to this bay for generations. Fishermen here have learned to time their work with the squid's arrival, and on some nights, you might see fishing boats out on the water, their nets bringing up catches that glow and sparkle, the squid flashing in distress or confusion as they are pulled from their element. It's a different kind of beauty than the dinoflagellate glow, more deliberate, more complex. These are not simple cells responding to disturbance, but animals with nervous systems, using light as a tool, as a language. And yet the effect is equally mesmerizing, this gathering of glowing creatures in the dark waters of the bay, this annual event that transforms an ordinary stretch of coastline into something magical. Now let's travel south and west, to the Maldives, a nation of islands scattered across the Indian Ocean. Here, on certain beaches, particularly on Vadhu Island, the shoreline sometimes glows with what locals call the Sea of Stars. This is caused by dinoflagellates again, but the effect here can be particularly dramatic because of the way the beaches are shaped and the way the waves break. Imagine yourself on a Maldivian beach at night. The sand is white and fine, almost powder soft beneath your feet. The air is warm and still, and you can hear the gentle sound of small waves lapping at the shore. The ocean stretches out before you, dark and vast, and above, the tropical sky is filled with stars. As you watch, a wave rolls in, and as it breaks, the entire crest of the wave lights up, a line of blue-green fire that curves along the beach for dozens of yards. The foam that spreads across the sand glows brightly for a moment, then fades, leaving behind scattered points of light like embers from a fire. Another wave comes, and another, each one painting the shoreline with light. If you walk along the water's edge, your footprints glow behind you, each step creating a brief constellation in the wet sand. The effect is so pronounced that it looks almost artificial, as if someone has installed tiny lights beneath the sand, but this is entirely natural, entirely alive, the product of millions of tiny organisms responding to the movement of water and feet. The Maldives are remote, far from major landmasses, and the water here is exceptionally clear and clean. This clarity means that the bioluminescence, when it occurs, is particularly vivid and beautiful. The contrast between the white sand, the dark water, and the glowing blue-green light creates a scene that seems almost otherworldly, like something from a dream or a fantasy. Let's continue our journey now to the coast of California, where several beaches occasionally experience bioluminescent blooms. These blooms are less predictable than in some tropical locations, depending on water temperature, nutrient levels, and other factors, but when they occur, they can be spectacular. Beaches from San Diego up to the Bay Area have all reported glowing waves at various times, often during late summer or early fall. Imagine yourself on a California beach on one of these special nights. The air has that characteristic California coolness, even in summer, and you might be wearing a light jacket or sweater. The beach is wide and sandy, backed by cliffs or dunes, and the sound of the waves is strong and rhythmic, the Pacific Ocean asserting its presence. As darkness falls and you walk down to the water's edge, you begin to notice the glow. Here, the waves are often larger than in sheltered bays, and when they break, the effect is dramatic. A wave builds offshore, its face dark and smooth, and then as it reaches the shallows and begins to curl over, the entire breaking edge lights up in brilliant blue. The wave crashes with a roar, and the foam that results is filled with light, glowing and sparkling as it rushes up the beach. Surfers who have been out in these conditions report an incredible experience, riding waves that glow beneath their boards, leaving trails of light behind them as they carve across the face of the wave. Some describe it as surfing through liquid light, as if the ocean has become a living thing that's expressing its energy in visible form. On the beach, people gather to watch, standing in small groups, their voices hushed as if they're in a cathedral. There's something about this phenomenon that invites quiet, that makes people speak softly and move gently, as if afraid to break the spell. Children run back and forth in the shallow water, delighting in the way their splashing creates explosions of light. Couples walk hand in hand along the water's edge, their path marked by glowing footprints. Let's travel now across the world to Australia, where several locations are known for bioluminescent displays. Jervis Bay, south of Sydney, is one such place. This bay is known for having some of the whitest sand in the world, and when bioluminescence occurs here, the contrast between the pale sand and the glowing blue water is particularly striking. Imagine yourself here on an Australian summer night. The air is warm, and you can hear the distinctive sounds of Australian wildlife, the calls of night birds, the chirping of insects. The bay is calm and sheltered, and as you wade into the water, you feel its warmth, heated by the summer sun during the day and still holding that warmth into the night. As you move through the water, you create swirls of light, and you notice that the glow here seems particularly bright, perhaps because of the clarity of the water or the density of the dinoflagellates bloom. When you cup your hands and lift water from the bay, it glows in your palms, a handful of liquid light that sparkles and shimmers before draining away between your fingers. Other beaches in Australia, from Tasmania to Queensland, have also reported bioluminescent events. Each location has its own character, its own particular combination of conditions that allow the phenomenon to occur. But the experience is always similar, that sense of wonder, that feeling of witnessing something rare and special, that connection to the living ocean. As we near the end of our global tour, let's visit one more location, the beaches of the Gippsland Lakes in Victoria, Australia. This area experienced a particularly intense and prolonged bioluminescent event in 2008 and 2009, caused by a bloom of a specific type of dinoflagellate called Noctiluca scintillans, sometimes called sea sparkle. The bloom was so intense and lasted so long that it attracted photographers from around the world, and the images captured there, of people walking through glowing water, of waves breaking in brilliant blue, became some of the most famous bioluminescence photographs ever taken. Imagine yourself there during that remarkable event. The lakes are shallow and calm, and the water is filled with so many dinoflagellates that during the day, it has a reddish tinge. But at night, the transformation is complete. Every movement creates light. A person walking through knee-deep water leaves a glowing trail behind them that persists for several seconds. A thrown stone creates a splash of light that radiates outward in glowing ripples. Even the gentle movement of water lapping against the shore creates a constant, subtle shimmer. Photographers set up their cameras on tripods, using long exposures to capture the light. In their images, people become ghostly figures surrounded by halos of blue, their movements traced in light. The water looks like it's filled with stars, with galaxies, with clouds of glowing blue-green. It's a reminder of how photography can sometimes capture and preserve these fleeting moments, allowing people who weren't there to still experience something of the magic. As you stand on the shore of the Gippsland lakes in your imagination, watching the water glow, you might reflect on the fact that all around the world, in different oceans and seas, on different beaches and in different bays, this same phenomenon occurs. The specific organisms might differ, the intensity and frequency might vary, but the basic experience is the same: water that glows when disturbed, living light emerging from the darkness, a reminder that the ocean is full of life, much of it invisible to us most of the time, but occasionally revealing itself in spectacular fashion. Each of these places we've visited tonight has its own story, its own ecological conditions, its own community of organisms creating the glow. But they're all connected by the ocean, by the currents that flow between continents, by the shared evolutionary history of the creatures that produce bioluminescence. In a sense, these glowing beaches are all part of one global phenomenon, one expression of life's creativity and adaptability. As we prepare to move from this tour of specific places into a more reflective space, take a moment to let all these images settle in your mind. The Caribbean Bay with kayakers leaving glowing trails. The Japanese coast with its firefly squid. The Maldivian beach with its sea of stars. The California waves breaking in brilliant blue. The Australian bays with their crystal-clear glowing water. Each one is a gift, a moment of beauty offered by the natural world to anyone patient enough and fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. And perhaps, in your imagination, you can create your own perfect bioluminescent beach, combining elements from all the places we've visited. Maybe it has the warm air of the Caribbean, the dramatic waves of California, the white sand of the Maldives, and the crystal clarity of Australia. Maybe it's a place where you're completely alone, or maybe you're sharing it with people you love. Maybe it's silent except for the waves, or maybe there's soft music drifting from somewhere distant. However you imagine it, make it yours. This is your place of rest, your sanctuary of light and water, your refuge from the busy world. And you can return here anytime you need to, simply by closing your eyes and remembering the feeling of standing in glowing water, watching the ocean breathe light into the darkness. As you stand on your imagined luminescent beach, surrounded by the gentle glow of the water and the vast darkness of the night sky, let's allow our attention to shift inward for a while. The external journey through glowing shores around the world has brought us to this moment, and now we can explore what this phenomenon might mean on a deeper level, what it might teach us, what it might reflect about our own inner landscapes. There's something profoundly moving about watching light emerge from darkness. It speaks to something fundamental in the human experience, this interplay between light and dark, between the visible and the hidden, between what we can see and what remains mysterious. Throughout human history, Across all cultures, light has been associated with hope, with knowledge, with life itself. Darkness, conversely, has often been linked with fear, with the unknown, with endings. But here, on this luminescent beach, the relationship between light and darkness is more nuanced, more beautiful. The darkness is not something to be feared or banished. It's the canvas that makes the light visible. Without the deep darkness of the night ocean, without the absence of artificial lights, the gentle glow of the bioluminescence would be invisible, washed out, meaningless. The darkness is necessary. It's not the enemy of light but its partner, its complement, the condition that allows light to be seen and appreciated. Perhaps there's a lesson in that for our own lives. We often think of difficult times, dark periods in our lives, as things to be avoided or rushed through as quickly as possible. We want to stay in the light, in the easy times, in the moments of clarity and joy. And that's natural, that's human. But maybe, like the bioluminescent bay, our own moments of darkness are also the times when certain kinds of light become visible. The light of resilience, of inner strength, of compassion, of connection with others who are also struggling. These lights might always be there, but they're most visible, most appreciated, when the background is dark. As you stand in the water, watching the glow appear around your feet with each movement, you might think about the way small actions can create light. Each step you take, each movement of your hand through the water, triggers a response from millions of tiny organisms. Your presence matters. Your movements have an effect. It's a small effect, a brief flash of light that fades quickly, but it's real, it's visible, it's beautiful. In our daily lives, we sometimes feel like our actions don't matter, like we're too small to make a difference in a world that's so large and complex. But maybe we're like these dinoflagellates, each of us small individually, but capable of creating light, capable of responding to the world around us in ways that matter. And when we act together, when millions of us respond to the same stimulus, to the same need, to the same call, we can create something spectacular, something that lights up the darkness in ways that are visible from far away. The ocean itself, with its eternal rhythm of tides and waves, offers another kind of teaching. The waves come in and go out, come in and go out, endlessly repeating this pattern. Each wave is unique, slightly different from the one before and the one after, but the pattern is constant. There's something deeply reassuring about this rhythm, this reliable repetition. No matter what happens in our human world, no matter what chaos or confusion we might be experiencing, the ocean continues its ancient pattern, indifferent to our concerns, following laws that are older than our species, older than our planet. When we align ourselves with natural rhythms like this, when we let our breathing slow to match the pace of the waves, when we allow our thoughts to rise and fall like the tide, we tap into something larger than ourselves. We remember that we're part of nature, not separate from it. We're made of the same elements as the ocean, the same atoms that make up the water and the sand and the glowing plankton. We're all stardust, as the saying goes, all formed from the remnants of ancient stars that exploded billions of years ago, scattering their elements across space, eventually coalescing into planets and oceans and living beings. Standing here, with your feet in the glowing water and your eyes on the stars above, you're a point of connection between the ocean and the cosmos, between the microscopic and the infinite. The dinoflagellates at your feet are responding to your presence, creating light. The stars above are sending their light across vast distances of space and time, some of them so far away that the light you're seeing left them before humans existed on Earth. You're receiving light from the past and the present simultaneously, surrounded by luminescence from above and below. There's a kind of meditation in this, a way of being present that doesn't require effort or striving. You're not trying to achieve anything or become anything. You're simply here, aware, noticing. The water is cool around your ankles. The air is soft on your skin. The sound of the waves is constant and soothing. The glow appears and fades, like a visual mantra, a focus for attention that doesn't demand anything from you. In our busy lives, we're often caught up in doing, in accomplishing, in moving forward toward goals. We measure our days by what we've achieved, by how much we've checked off our lists, by how productive we've been. And there's nothing wrong with that, with having purpose and direction. But there's also deep value in these moments of simply being, of pausing the constant forward motion and allowing ourselves to exist without agenda, without purpose beyond presence itself. The luminescent beach offers you this gift, a place where there's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to figure out or fix or improve. You can just be here, in this moment, watching light emerge from darkness, listening to the eternal conversation between water and shore. As you breathe slowly, you might notice how your body feels. Perhaps there's tension somewhere, in your shoulders or your jaw or your lower back. You don't need to do anything about it, don't need to fix it or force it to release. Just notice it, acknowledge it, and then gently return your attention to the water, to the glow, to the sound of the waves. Sometimes, simply noticing tension without judgment is enough to allow it to begin to soften on its own. Your mind might wander, might start thinking about tomorrow or replaying something from earlier today. That's natural, that's what minds do. When you notice it happening, you can gently guide your attention back to the present moment, back to the sensation of water around your feet, back to the visual rhythm of light appearing and fading. You're not trying to empty your mind or stop thinking, you're just practicing the gentle art of returning to the present, again and again, as many times as needed. The bioluminescence itself can serve as a metaphor for this practice. Each flash of light is brief, appearing for just a moment before fading back into darkness. You can't hold onto it, can't make it last longer than it naturally does. You can only appreciate it while it's there, and then let it go, knowing that another flash will come with the next wave, the next movement. This is the nature of all experiences, all moments. They arise, they exist briefly, and then they pass, making room for the next moment. When we try to cling to pleasant experiences, to make them last forever, we create suffering for ourselves. When we try to push away unpleasant experiences, to make them end before they're ready to, we also create suffering. But when we can be with each moment as it is, appreciating it without clinging, acknowledging it without resistance, we find a kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances being a particular way. The ocean, in its vastness and its constancy, reminds us of this. It's been here for billions of years, and it will be here long after we're gone. Our individual lives are like single waves, rising briefly from the ocean, existing for a moment as a distinct form, and then dissolving back into the whole. This could be a frightening thought, a reminder of our mortality and insignificance. But it can also be comforting, a reminder that we're part of something much larger than ourselves, that our existence, however brief, is part of an ancient and ongoing story. The dinoflagellates glowing at your feet have their own brief existences, measured in days or weeks rather than years. They drift with the currents, feed, reproduce, and die, their individual lives unremarkable. But collectively, they create something beautiful, something that has the power to move and inspire creatures as large and complex as humans. Their light, produced for their own purposes, becomes a gift to us, a source of wonder and joy. Perhaps we're similar. Perhaps the things we do for our own reasons, the ways we move through the world, the light we create in our own small ways, might also be gifts to others, might create beauty or meaning or inspiration in ways we never intended or even know about. We don't need to be trying to create something magnificent. We just need to be ourselves, responding authentically to our environment, and the magnificence might emerge on its own, as a byproduct of simply living. As you continue to stand in the glowing water, you might feel a sense of gratitude arising. Gratitude for this moment, for the beauty you're witnessing, for the fact that you're alive and aware and able to experience this. Gratitude for the ocean, for the tiny organisms creating the light, for the darkness that makes the light visible, for the stars above and the sand below. Gratitude doesn't need to be forced or manufactured. It can simply be noticed, acknowledged, allowed to be present. And along with gratitude, perhaps there's also a sense of connection. Connection to the natural world, to the living systems that surround and include you. Connection to other people who have stood on glowing beaches and felt this same sense of wonder. Connection to your own deeper self, the part of you that exists beneath the surface of daily concerns and habitual thoughts, the part that can still be moved by beauty, that can still feel awe. This connection is always available, always present, but it's easy to lose touch with it in the rush of daily life. Moments like this, whether real or imagined, whether on an actual beach or in the quiet space of meditation or rest, are opportunities to remember that connection, to feel it again, to let it nourish and sustain you. As we prepare to move into an even deeper state of relaxation, take one more moment to simply be here, on this luminescent shore. Feel the water, hear the waves, see the gentle glow. Let yourself be held by this moment, supported by the earth beneath your feet and the vast presence of the ocean before you. You are exactly where you need to be, exactly as you are, and that is enough. More than enough. Perfect. Now, as you stand on this glowing shore, Let's begin to settle even more deeply into rest. We're going to use the imagery of the luminescent beach to guide your body and mind into a state of profound relaxation, preparing you for sleep or simply for a period of deep, restorative rest. If you're able to, find a comfortable position. You might be lying down, perhaps on your back with your arms resting gently at your sides, or on your side with a pillow supporting your head. Or you might be sitting comfortably, your back supported, your body at ease. However you're positioned, take a moment to adjust anything that needs adjusting, to find that place of maximum comfort where your body can truly let go. Imagine now that you're no longer standing in the water, but lying on the sand, just above the waterline where the sand is cool and slightly damp but not wet. The sand beneath you is soft, conforming to the shape of your body, supporting you completely. You can feel it under your head, your shoulders, your back, your hips, your legs. It's like the earth itself is cradling you, holding you safely. Above you, the night sky stretches out in all its vastness, stars scattered across the darkness like diamonds on velvet. The air is comfortable, neither too warm nor too cool, just right. You can hear the sound of the waves, that eternal rhythm, rolling in and rolling out, a sound that has lulled countless beings to sleep over millions of years. Let's begin by bringing awareness to your breathing. You don't need to change it or control it, just notice it. Notice the gentle rise of your chest or belly as you breathe in, and the soft fall as you breathe out. The breath is like a wave itself, coming in and going out, coming in and going out, following its own natural rhythm. As you breathe in, imagine that you're drawing in the cool, clean ocean air, filled with negative ions and the scent of salt and sea. As you breathe out, imagine that you're releasing any tension, any stress, any thoughts or worries that you've been carrying. Breathing in freshness and calm, breathing out anything you no longer need. With each breath, you might notice that you're sinking a little deeper into the sand, your body becoming heavier, more relaxed. The sand is supporting you completely, so you don't need to hold yourself up or maintain any tension. You can simply let go, let the earth hold you. Now, let's bring awareness to your feet. Notice your feet, whether they're bare or covered, whether they're warm or cool. Imagine that the water from the luminescent bay is gently washing over your feet, cool and soothing. As the water touches your feet, they begin to glow with that soft blue-green light, and with that glow comes a deep sense of relaxation. Any tension in your feet, in your toes, in your arches, begins to dissolve, washing away with the water as it retreats back into the ocean. The wave comes in again, and this time it reaches a little higher, washing over your ankles and lower legs. As the glowing water touches your legs, they too begin to glow, and they too begin to relax. The muscles in your calves, which might have been working hard today, carrying you through your day, can now soften and release. The water is cool and soothing, and as it retreats, it takes with it any tightness, any discomfort, leaving behind only ease and comfort. Another wave comes, reaching higher still, washing over your knees and thighs. The glowing water brings relaxation wherever it touches. Your thighs, those large, strong muscles, can now let go of their work, can soften and rest. Your knees, which bend and support you throughout the day, can now be still and comfortable. The light from the water seems to penetrate deep into your muscles, into your joints, bringing a sense of warmth and ease. The next wave reaches your hips and lower back. This is an area where many of us hold tension, where the stresses of the day can accumulate. But as the luminescent water washes over this area, as your hips and lower back begin to glow with that soft light, you can feel the tension beginning to melt away. Your lower back can soften into the sand beneath you. Your hips can release any tightness. The water is doing the work for you. You don't need to try or effort, just allow it to happen. The wave continues to rise, washing over your belly and chest. As the glowing water touches your abdomen, you might notice your breathing becoming even slower, even deeper. Your belly can be soft, can rise and fall with each breath without any holding or tension. The water reaches your chest, and your ribcage can expand fully with each inhale, can relax completely with each exhale. Your heart, which has been beating steadily all day, all your life, can continue its work while the rest of you rests. The luminescent water washes over your shoulders now, those places where so many of us carry the weight of our responsibilities and concerns. But here, on this beach, you don't need to carry anything. The water is glowing around your shoulders, and they can drop, can release, can let go of any burden. Your shoulder blades can settle into the sand. Your collarbones can widen. There's space here, space to breathe, space to be. The wave reaches your arms now, flowing down from your shoulders to your elbows, to your wrists, to your hands and fingers. Your arms can be heavy, can rest completely on the sand beside you. Your hands, which do so much throughout the day, grasping and holding and working, can now be soft and open, fingers gently curled, palms relaxed. The glowing water washes over them, and they too can rest. Finally, the wave reaches your neck and head. The water is gentle here, just barely touching, bringing that same sense of glowing relaxation. Your neck, which supports your head all day, can now release any tension. Your jaw, which might be clenched without you even realizing it, can soften, your teeth slightly apart, your tongue resting gently in your mouth. Your face, all the tiny muscles around your eyes and forehead and cheeks, can smooth and soften. Your eyes, which have been taking in information all day, can rest behind closed lids, no need to see or focus on anything. Even your scalp can relax, the skin over your skull releasing any tightness. Now your entire body is glowing with that soft, blue-green light, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. You're surrounded by the luminescence, part of it, as if you've become one with the glowing ocean. And with this light comes deep, profound relaxation. Every part of you is at ease, at rest, supported by the sand and the earth beneath you, surrounded by the gentle presence of the ocean. As you lie here, glowing softly in the darkness, you can simply be with the rhythm of the waves. Each wave that comes in is like an inhale, bringing fresh energy, fresh oxygen, fresh life. Each wave that goes out is like an exhale, releasing, letting go, returning to the source. Your breathing and the waves are synchronized now, moving together, part of the same rhythm. In and out. In and out. The sound of the waves is constant, reliable, soothing. It's a sound that requires nothing from you, that asks nothing of you. It simply is, and you can rest in it, can let it fill your awareness, can let it carry you deeper into relaxation. If thoughts arise, and they will, you can imagine them as small fish swimming through the glowing water. You notice them, you see them pass by, leaving trails of light, and then they swim away, back into the darkness. You don't need to follow them or engage with them. You can just let them pass, returning your attention to the waves, to your breathing, to the sensation of your body resting on the sand. Each time you exhale, you might notice that you're sinking a little deeper, becoming a little heavier, a little more relaxed. It's as if the sand is slowly, gently embracing you, as if you're being held in the most comfortable, safe embrace imaginable. You're protected here, cared for, safe. The glow around you is beginning to soften now, becoming dimmer, more subtle. It's still there, still visible, but it's fading into a gentle twilight, a soft luminescence that's more felt than seen. This is the natural rhythm of the bioluminescence, the way it appears and then fades, appears and then fades. And as it fades, you can fade with it, can let yourself drift deeper into rest, deeper into the space between waking and sleeping. Your body is completely relaxed now, every muscle soft, every joint at ease. There's no tension anywhere, no discomfort, no need to move or adjust. You're perfectly comfortable, perfectly at peace. Your mind, too, is beginning to quiet. The constant stream of thoughts that usually fills your awareness is slowing, becoming more like occasional ripples on a calm surface rather than crashing waves. And even those ripples are gentle, soft, easily released. You're drifting now, floating in that peaceful space where you're not quite awake but not quite asleep either. It's a liminal space, a threshold, and it's perfectly safe to be here, to hover in this in-between place for as long as you like. The ocean is still there, still breathing its rhythm of waves. The stars are still above you, their ancient light reaching across space to touch you here. The sand is still supporting you, the earth still holding you. And you are still glowing, very faintly now, with that soft inner light that comes from deep relaxation, from letting go, from trusting that you're exactly where you need to be. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. This moment is complete in itself. You are complete in yourself. Everything is as it should be. As we move toward the final part of our journey together, you can continue to rest here, on this luminescent shore, for as long as you like. The beach will remain, the waves will continue, the gentle glow will persist, even as it fades into the softest whisper of light. You're safe here, held here, and you can stay as long as you need. Let the rhythm of the waves carry you now, deeper and deeper into rest, into peace, into the gentle darkness that welcomes you like an old friend. The night has deepened around you now, and the luminescent glow has faded to the faintest whisper of light, like embers from a fire that's burned down to its quietest state. You're still lying on the sand, still supported by the earth, still surrounded by the presence of the ocean, but everything has become softer, quieter, more dreamlike. The waves continue their eternal rhythm, but they seem more distant now, as if you're hearing them from very far away, or as if they're part of a dream you're having. The sound is still soothing, still constant, but it's no longer something you're actively listening to. It's simply there, part of the background of existence, like your own heartbeat, like your own breathing. The stars above you are still shining, but your eyes are closed now, or nearly closed, and you're seeing them more with your inner vision than with your physical eyes. They're there, you know they're there, but you don't need to look at them. You can simply feel their presence, their ancient light, their patient witness to everything that happens on this small planet. The sand beneath you has become indistinguishable from your own body. You're not sure anymore where you end and the beach begins. You've merged with this place, become part of it, and it's become part of you. You are the sand and the water and the stars and the darkness all at once. Time has lost its meaning here. You might have been lying on this beach for minutes or hours or days. It doesn't matter. There's no schedule to keep, no place you need to be, no one waiting for you. You can stay here as long as you like, drifting in this peaceful space between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and dreams. Occasionally, a very faint glow might appear in the water near you, a last flicker of bioluminescence, a final flash from a dinoflagellate responding to some small disturbance. But even these flashes are becoming rarer, softer, as if the ocean itself is settling into sleep, as if all the tiny organisms in the water are also resting, also letting go of the day. You might notice that you're breathing very slowly now, each breath deep and effortless, each exhale a gentle release. Your body knows how to breathe, knows how to rest, knows how to heal and restore itself while you sleep. You don't need to do anything or control anything. Your body has its own wisdom, its own rhythms, and you can trust it completely. If you're still aware of thoughts, they're very faint now, like distant clouds drifting across a vast sky. They come and they go, and you barely notice them. They have no power to disturb you, no ability to pull you out of this deep state of rest. You're too far down now, too deeply relaxed, too completely at peace. The ocean, in its vastness and its patience, continues to hold you. It's been here for billions of years, and it will be here for billions more. Your brief existence, your single life, is just one small moment in the ocean's long story, but it's a moment that matters, a moment that's part of the whole. You are connected to everything that has ever lived in or near the ocean, to every creature that has ever swum in these waters or walked on these shores. You're part of an unbroken chain of life that stretches back to the very beginning, to the first cells that formed in ancient seas, to the first organisms that learned to produce light in the darkness. And that light, that bioluminescence that we've been exploring together tonight, is still happening, even now, even as you rest. Somewhere in the world, on some dark beach, waves are breaking in blue-green light. Somewhere, a person is standing in the water, watching in wonder as their footsteps glow. Somewhere, a child is laughing with delight at the sparkles in the surf. The phenomenon continues, independent of your awareness of it, part of the ongoing dance of life on this planet. You don't need to see it or think about it for it to be real. It's happening, right now, and it will continue to happen, night after night, as long as there are oceans and dinoflagellates and darkness. That's comforting, somehow, knowing that this beauty exists whether or not anyone is there to witness it, that the world is full of wonders that happen in secret, in silence, in the dark. As you drift deeper into sleep, or into this deep state of rest, you can carry with you the memory of the glowing water, the feeling of standing at the edge of the ocean, the sense of wonder and peace that came from witnessing this natural phenomenon. These memories, these feelings, are yours to keep, yours to return to whenever you need them. Whenever you're feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, you can close your eyes and remember this luminescent beach. You can feel the cool water around your ankles, see the soft glow appearing with each movement, hear the gentle rhythm of the waves. You can return here, to this place of peace, anytime you need to. It's always available to you, always waiting, a sanctuary you can access simply by closing your eyes and remembering. The night will continue, long and peaceful, holding you safely in its embrace. The darkness is not empty, it's full of presence, full of the quiet activity of nocturnal life, full of stars and ocean and the gentle breathing of the earth itself. You're part of that darkness now, part of that quiet presence, and you can rest in it completely. The luminescent glow has almost entirely faded now, just the faintest suggestion of light remaining, like the memory of light rather than light itself. But that's perfect, that's natural. The bioluminescence comes and goes, appears and fades, following rhythms that are older than human civilization, older than human consciousness. It doesn't need to be bright or constant to be real, to be beautiful, to be meaningful. And neither do you. You don't need to be bright or shining or performing or achieving right now. You can simply be, quietly existing, resting, allowing yourself to fade into the peaceful darkness of sleep. There's no pressure here, no expectation, no judgment. You're exactly as you should be, exactly where you should be. The waves continue their patient work, rolling in and rolling out, shaping the shore grain by grain, moment by moment. They've been doing this for millions of years, and they'll continue for millions more. There's something deeply reassuring about that continuity, that persistence, that patient repetition. The ocean doesn't hurry, doesn't worry, doesn't question its purpose. It simply is, and in being, it accomplishes everything it needs to accomplish. You can be like the ocean now, simply being, simply breathing, simply existing without effort or strain. Your body knows what to do. Your mind knows how to rest. You don't need to control or manage or direct anything. You can simply allow, simply surrender, simply let go. As you drift deeper, you might notice that the boundary between sleeping and waking has become very thin, almost transparent. You might not be sure anymore which state you're in, and that's perfectly fine. You're in the space between, the liminal zone, and it's a safe and comfortable place to be. You can hover here, or you can let yourself slip all the way into sleep. Either way is perfect. The sand beneath you has become infinitely soft, like the softest bed you've ever known, supporting every part of you perfectly. You're sinking into it, or perhaps floating above it. It's hard to tell anymore. The distinction doesn't matter. What matters is that you're comfortable, deeply comfortable, more comfortable than you've been in a long time. Your breathing has become so slow and so quiet that you barely notice it anymore. It's happening on its own, your body breathing itself, your lungs filling and emptying in their own perfect rhythm. Each breath is effortless, each exhale a gentle release of anything you don't need, anything that doesn't serve you. The stars above you are beginning to fade now, not because they're going out, but because dawn is approaching somewhere, or because your awareness is turning inward, away from the external world and toward the inner landscape of dreams and rest. The stars will still be there, even if you can't see them. They'll continue their slow wheel across the sky, marking time in their ancient way. And the ocean will still be there, still breathing its rhythm of waves, still holding within it countless tiny organisms that can produce light in the darkness. The dinoflagellates will continue their microscopic lives, drifting with currents, feeding, reproducing, and occasionally, when disturbed, flashing their brief blue-green light into the night. All of this will continue, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're awake or asleep. The world goes on, life goes on, the great cycles and rhythms continue. And you're part of it all, connected to it all, even as you rest, even as you sleep. Before we let you drift completely into sleep, there's just one small thing. If you've enjoyed this journey to the luminescent beaches, if this experience has brought you some peace or comfort or wonder, you might consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel. It helps others find these peaceful places too, helps create more of these gentle journeys into rest and wonder. But only if you'd like to, only if it feels right. There's no pressure, no obligation. Your rest is the most important thing. And now, you can let that thought go too, can return your full attention to the beach, to the water, to the soft darkness that surrounds you. You're so deeply relaxed now, so completely at ease. Every part of your body is heavy and soft, every part of your mind is quiet and still. You're drifting in that perfect space where nothing is required of you, where you can simply be, simply rest, simply allow yourself to sink into the deep, restorative sleep that your body and mind need. The last traces of the luminescent glow are fading now, becoming one with the darkness, becoming indistinguishable from the night itself. But you carry that light within you now, a soft inner glow that comes from deep relaxation, from peace, from connection with the natural world. That light is yours to keep, yours to carry with you, even into your dreams. As you sleep, you might dream of glowing waters, of walking along endless beaches where every step creates light, of swimming through liquid stars. Or you might dream of something else entirely, or you might not dream at all, simply resting in the deep, dark, peaceful space of dreamless sleep. Whatever happens is exactly right, exactly what you need. The ocean is still there, patient and eternal, its waves still rolling in and rolling out. You can hear them, very faintly now, like a lullaby sung from very far away, like a mother's heartbeat heard from the womb. It's the most ancient sound, the most comforting sound, the sound that says you're safe, you're held, you're home. Let that sound carry you now, deeper and deeper into rest. Let the rhythm of the waves become the rhythm of your own breathing, slow and steady and effortless. Let the darkness embrace you like the softest blanket, warm and protective and infinitely gentle. You're sinking now, sinking through layers of consciousness, through layers of awareness, down into the deep, quiet place where true rest lives. Down past thoughts, past memories, past worries and plans and all the busy activity of the waking mind. Down into the stillness, into the silence, into the peace that's always there, waiting for you, whenever you're ready to return to it. The beach is fading now, becoming dreamlike, becoming memory, becoming part of the landscape of your inner world. But it's still there, still real, still available to you whenever you need it. You can return here anytime, to this luminescent shore, to this place of peace and wonder and gentle light in the darkness. For now, though, you can let it go. You can let everything go. You can simply rest, simply sleep, simply be. The waves continue, soft and distant, a whisper of sound in the darkness. In and out. In and out. Rising and falling. Appearing and fading. Like breath. Like light. Like life itself. You're part of it all, connected to it all, held by it all. And you can rest now. Deeply. Completely. Peacefully. The luminescent beach will be here when you wake, if you want to return. The ocean will still be breathing its ancient rhythm. The dinoflagellates will still be creating their living light in the darkness. The stars will still be wheeling across the sky. But for now, you can let it all fade into the background, can let yourself sink into the foreground of sleep, into the deep, dark, restful place where healing happens, where restoration occurs, where your body and mind can do the quiet work of renewal. You're safe here. You're held here. You're home. Sleep now. Rest. Let go. The ocean is breathing. The stars are shining. The earth is turning. And you are resting. Deeply. Peacefully. Completely. Sleep well.